Welcome back to the series, guys. So far we have seen quite different visuals, so including scatter plot, line chart and different kind of visuals. So let's continue with our series. Alright, so let's just check what are the different visuals we need to understand today. Okay, so in the last video we have seen line chart, ribbon chart, and we have seen how to build a dashboard and a funnel chart, scatter chart, like pie chart and donut chart. Now let's continue with the same thing, and the next visual which comes up here is called as tree map. So let us try to understand why it is called as a tree map. Alright, so before that we need to understand something called as hierarchy. So in a simple words, let me demonstrate with an example. Hierarchy. So let's say this is a globe. Alright, in that we have multiple continents. In that continents we have multiple countries. In that countries we have states, districts, pin codes. So that's the data which is following a hierarchy. Alright, so let's just understand. Alright, so if you look at this data, we have category and subcategory. So this is a kind of a hierarchy where in this category subcategory comes, and this subcategory product name comes. So this is following a specific hierarchy. So let's check how we can use this specific visual tree map. Alright, so here is I'm selecting the visual, I'm bringing it to center just for the displaying purposes. Alright, so I'm taking my categories and dropping it into the categories. Alright, so let's see what will happen. Alright, then we have values, some numerical information. I'll take sales and drop it in values. So what do we see here? We see that technology, furnitures and office supplies. So this is the visual which is telling us the bigger the area, the higher the contribution of that category. So if you look, technology is occupying the highest area, so that means sales in that specific category technology is the highest, right? So if you hover on it, you can still see the exact amount. So technology is 8,64,36,000 and so on. All right, so now I'll take the hierarchical data. Right now, as I told you, category and subcategory is sort of a hierarchy. All right, so if I take subcategory and drop it in details, this is something we can understand that in technology we have subcategories such as phones, machines, accessories, copiers. You won't see this information in this part of it, because furniture has its own subcategory: chair, tables, bookmarks, furniture, that kind of things. So this is following a hierarchy. So let's check what will happen if you put a data which is not following any kind of hierarchy. So I'll remove this subcategory and I'll keep segment there. And as I told you, there is no such hierarchical relationship between categories and segments. So you will see consumer, corporate, home office, consumer, corporate, home office, for every category. So this is the information we get out of tree map. All right, so it's like larger the area, more the contribution of that value for that specific category. So that is it with the tree map. And let's say your client has asked you to show the exact numbers, what's happening in the tree map. So how are we supposed to do that? So just to make things simple, I'll remove segment from here and let's make it simple. Now I'll go to formatting, and you will see data labels. If I turn it on, and here you can see the figure. So this will give you a broad perspective about your data. All right, so that was about tree map. All right, so let's understand another thing. So this is our tree map. All right, so next let's try to understand something called as table. So tables are like versatile visual where like you will get you can understand your data in a very easier manner. All right, so here I'll take subcategory and drop it into the table. You can either drop it here or there. So I'll directly drop it in the table. Now look, we have these many subcategories in our data. Now what I'll do, I'll take some value such as sales and drop it here again. So by default we are getting sum of sales. All right, so if at all you want to get something different, such as average sales, count of sales, something like that, so you can see this arrow here, click it, data options, summarizations, and by default it is giving us the sum. From here you can choose anything, average sales across this subcategory, or maximum standard deviation of that specific thing. So let it be. So let's keep it as a sales itself, sum, and I'll add few more numerical informations in it, such as profit, quantity, and there you go. So this is the table visual which gives us the summarized information, but it is very difficult to read the data. Okay, so what can we do to such kind of data? If you are aware of Excel, there is something called as conditional formatting. We can apply conditional formatting to this table so that we can understand the information out of that table just by looking at it, by its colors or fonts or bars, something like that. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So selecting the visual, so you can see here, this is my format pane. So cell elements, so right now it is subcategory columns been selected here, so I'll change it to sales. So if you look here, we have multiple options: background color, font color, data bar, icons, websites, all these things. So right now what am I trying to do is that for this sales, sum of sales column, the bigger value should be highlighted with a darker background color. So as simple as that, I have just selected sum of sales. I'll just turn on this and you can see the bigger values got darker background color. And just a tip, if you click on the column name here, the column got sorted. As you can see, the bigger values got the darker background color. As it keeps decreasing, the background colors fades away. Alright, so this helps us understand the data in a better manner. So let's see what all the different things we have. So I'll go to profit now, and you have the second option, font color. The same scenario, but instead of background, we'll be dealing with font color. So look again, I'll click on the column name. So look again. So we have bigger values with a darker color. As it decreases, it keeps fading out. So next, let's check what else do we have. We have sum of quantity. So I have selected the quantity, and for this I'll apply data bars. So look, we got a bar like thing. So if I just sort it again by clicking on the column, bigger the value, the bigger the bar. As simple as that. So this helps us understanding the data not by looking at its value, by looking at the colors and stuff. Alright, so in other terms, in general terms, we call it as conditional formatting. Okay, so let's continue. So it's not like you can apply one kind of formatting to only one specific column. No, I want to apply two different kind of conditional formatting to this profit column. Alright, so I have applied font color. Now I even want to apply icons to this thing. So let's check icon. So you can see the bigger value got green icon, the medium range value got orange, and the lowest value got red. So let's say you want to change the rules. So if the value is greater than this, give red. If the value is between this, orange, less than this, red. So how are you supposed to do that? So you will find an option called as FX. Conditional formatting make this property change under different conditions that you define. If you click on it, here's the place where you define your specific rules with which these icons will appear there. Now let's say you want to go with the default conditions. You have multiple options here. Alright, so I like this one, so let's go with it. There you go, I was able to change the icons as well. Alright, so that was about tables. Alright, so now another part of the story is that I'll make another table, and I'll take my subcategories and sales with me. Subcategories and sales. So now your manager has asked you to do a specific task that let's say your name is Akhil. Let's say, Akhil, can you filter out top 5 subcategories which are giving me the highest sales? So you would say, yes sir. What would you do? Right now with the thing which we learned so far, you would just click on the column. Right now with this you can give your manager the information like phones, sheets, storage, tables, binders. These are the subcategories which are contributing the highest sales. But your manager wants to filter out them. Filter out even if the data like updates in the background, right? So how are we supposed to do that? So here comes our filter pane. So let's just check what are we supposed to do. So this is the filter pane is used to filter a visual through 3 different ways. First thing, if you look, filter on this visual. If at all we want to filter anything, the filtration will happen only to this selected visual. Next we have filter on this page. If we do any kind of filtrations by doing here, the filters will apply to the entire page. The other one, you can see filter on all pages. If you filter anything, your data from this side, the filtration will apply on all the pages. Alright, so this is the kind of an important interview question. What are the different ways to filter visually, single page and all the pages? Alright, so let's just check. So what do I want? What does manager wants? Manager wants top 5 subcategories. All right. So if you look at here, since we took this informations into the table, automatically filters will see, you will see the same things in filters. So if you click on the drop down, these are the basic filters. So if you just select any of these, this is like manually selecting like desired information. All right. This is from basic filtering. I hope you can see the cursor. Yeah. So the second one is top N. Let's just check what it is. So top N here, as the manager said, he wants top 5 subcategories to see. So I'll give my number 5. Okay. So by value, by which value you want to see? So I want to see by value sales. I'll just drag and drop it here, and I'll click on apply filter. Now this specific table will filter all the time. Even if the data is entering from the backend again, it will filter out top 5 subcategories which are contributing highest sales. So that's how you will filter the data. So I have a quick assignment for you. Pause this video and do it. So create a table showing least sales subcategory. So this is your assignment. Pause the video and do it. Create a table showing least sales subcategory. Yeah. So let's continue. All right. This was about table visuals. Okay. So let's continue and table. So let's continue. So what do we got next? We got something called as matrix. What is matrix? So if you have ever worked with Excel, there's something called as pivot table. Okay, pivot table. So in pivot table, we drop something in rows, something in columns, and then something in values. Just like that, we got a matrix. So let's check how are we supposed to like get information. And I'll do one thing. I'll compare it. When to go with tables and when to go with matrix visuals. Okay. So let's check. So I have this visual. This is a table visual. Okay. I'll take, this is table. Okay. This side one is table. Region and segment and let's say a specific value, sales. You can see something, there is a redundancy in the data. The values are getting repeated again and again. So central, east, like that. Okay, it gives us the right information, but there is a redundancy which makes us difficult to get information out of that visual. As we know, the visual's ultimate purpose is to reduce the efforts to understand the data. All right. So let's do the same thing by matrix. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll take region and I'll drop it in rows. So if you look, central, east, southwest are in rows. All right. Then I'll take segment, I'll drop it in column. You can see consumer, corporate, home office are in columns. Then I'll take my values such as sales and I'll drop it here. Okay. So this is the thing. So this is more, this gives more insights and it increases the readability. So all those things are possible here. All right. So even you will get by default, you will get a row total and column totals. Do you see that? So if you sum up consumers, corporate, home office and their total, this is row wise. All right. So that was about matrix. Now let's understand something. This is about matrix chart. Okay. And again, you can still apply conditional formatting the way we did it for the tables. So cell elements, you can do that. Okay, here it is. So again, do that as a practice. So let's continue and let's just check what's the other visual we can understand. So this is our matrix. Yes, so the next visual is called as gauge chart. So if you look at its preview, it kind of looks like a speedometer, right? It's showing how fast or whatever it is. It's showing some kind of like where is your limit? Have you crossed your limit or anything as such? So you can see there are multiple fields here. Let's check what are those, right? So let's say I have sales. I have dropped the sales. So I just dropped a single numerical information. So by default, what it took, the scale starts from 0. And right now our data sales is 2.3 million, and assuming our maximum value to be as double of it. Okay, so right now at this point we are at the center. Okay, so how is supposed to manipulate these values? Let's just check. So what I'll do, just for explanation purposes, I'll create a measure. So let's say right click on the table. So don't worry what are the measures and stuff. So is just a variable. For now, understand it's storing a specific given value. Okay, min is equals to, let's say my sales starts from 20,000. That's the minimum measure I'm creating. Enter. So there you can see the symbol. This is a measure holding the minimum value. In the same manner, I will create another measure called as max is equals to. So let's say we can expect our sales to hit, let's say anything 100 million. It's up to us. 1 2 3 1 2 3 done. Okay, so I have two measures. Now I'll select my visual, and if you look, we have minimum value, maximum value. So I'll take minimum and drop it in minimum value. So if you can look, our minimum value earlier was 0, now it is 20k. Again, I'll do the same thing for the max. So look, now since let's assume that you are in the January month and by the end of the year you will hit 100 million. So this is the position you are at. That's the kind of information we can get. Now in between you have a target. So you want to create a target line. So let's say we'll create that. I'll create another measure. The target is 10 million. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. All right. Enter. So that's my 10 million. And let's just check. I'll select the visual. Take that target, which is on the bottom, and drop it here. Target variable. So with this line indicates that how close or how far you are from your target. So it's just we are about to reach that target in our coming months. That's the kind of scenario you can make out of a gauge chart. Yeah. So let's continue. All right. This is our gauge chart. All right. So what do we got next? So this is the very important thing, slicers. Okay, these are extremely important. All right. So let's just check. So in order to demonstrate slicers, what I'll do, I'll make a dashboard. Control C. I'm copying the visual. I'll paste it here. Control V. This goes here, and let's say this one. Control C. Control V. Let's say we take either line chart. Will take Control C. All right, so we have a small dashboard like thing right with us right now, and this dashboard consists of a line chart and a pie chart and a tree map and a table with conditional formatting. Okay, so if you notice so far, if you're following the series, these visuals are interactive. So if I just click on this orange color, you can see all the informations in the dashboard got filtered with the technology. So this, what you see right now is that whatever you see on the visual on this dashboard is filtered on the base of your click. So wherever you see, let's say if we have clicked on this specific technology, right? So whatever you see in this table is about the subcategories of technology, and you will end up seeing the same things. You will see 836.15, 836.15, everything. So everywhere, whatever the dashboard you can see, that is giving you information about technologies. Okay. So again, if you click on, let's say this is blue color. If you look at here, this is the blue color. If you click on this blue color, whatever you see in the visual is information from region west. So these visuals are interactive with each other. Okay, so just like this, a visual comes up called as slicer. So slicer, as the word itself says, slices out the data with a given click. Okay, so let's just check. I'll take region, I'll drop it in this slicer. Okay, so slices are used for a user to filter out the data dynamically. I mean, now the user has the access to filter data on the basis of his or her click. Okay, so let's say the user is clicking on central. Whatever you see on the dashboard is information about central region. Right? So you want to select two things, hold control and select central east. Now whatever you see on the dashboard is the information regarding region central and east. So that's the main purpose of a slicer. Okay, now this slicer is occupying a good amount of space. I mean, I wish there was some option like a drop down. Yes, that's possible. You don't have to wish for it. So select the visual and you have something called as slicer settings. If you go to format pane, from here, this is a vertical list. We have multiple options. tile. I don't want like this, so let's say if you want it you can keep it, but right now I'm looking for a drop down. So here's the drop down. So let me arrange it. Yeah, so this is the drop down. If you click on the drop down, click on east, whatever you see is filtered on east, south, west, all those things. So slicers are very good when the user wants to interact with his dashboard. Okay, so that's the one slicer. Okay, what will happen if I insert a numerical information in a slicer? So slicer, and I'll take sales and drop it here. So you can see right now our minimum sale is 0.44, maximum is some value, okay, regarding every row. So now you can just have to drag. So the dashboard will show you the sales regarding varying between 0.44 to 5966. Alright, so this might not give you much of the information, but we can still slice out information on numerical informations as well. So I'll delete this visual right now. Yeah, now what I'll do, let's say I'll take another slicer. I want to filter out on the basis of months. Okay, what is the how my dashboard looks on the basis of months. So I'll take months from my date hierarchy. So here you can see this is a vertical list. Okay, I want to make it as a drop down again. So slicer settings, drop down, there you go. So this is a drop down, and January, February, March. So this is the way a user can filter out the data so that he can get more information from the visual. Alright, usually let's talk about this thing. So this is the dashboard we have. Alright, so the user's requirement is that this month slicer should interact only with the graphs related to time. Okay, so this slicer should interact with only line chart. Let's check how we can do that. Okay, so if you select the visual, if you go to the format tab, if I just increase this thing, yeah, there's something called as edit interactions. That slicer is by default it interacts with every visual. I want to edit that interaction. Okay, if I click on edit interaction, you will see different thing. Okay, so restrict, I want to none. So let me just fix this thing. Let me minimize it so that I can see that option. Yeah, so again I'll select my visual, edit interaction. So you can see I want to make it to none. I don't want to interact with this visual, I don't want to interact with this visual, not with this. It's okay to be, yeah. Now I'll unclick it again, interaction mode is gone. Now if you look, I'll select that month slicer and January. Look, it is just interacting with the selected visual, which is this line chart. Okay, so just like that, what I'll do for the better understanding, so I'll just take this month off from here. Okay, and I'll put year. Okay, yeah, it looks good. So 2016. So how is your data varying from year 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019? So this gives a good like access for the user to filter out the data and generate insights from the visual. Alright, so that was about slicers. Alright, so that was about slicers. As you can see, it is used to filter out or select your data dynamically by a single click. Alright, so that was about slicer. So now we are going to understand a visual called as card. So you won't see the visual right here. So let's say restore default visuals. Okay, so now if you look here, you will find card. So if you are aware, like people use visiting cards or just a card, instead of giving an entire brochure, you'll get a card. The purpose of card is that it helps you understand anything in a summarized way. So just like that, cards are also used to do the same thing. So let's say this is a card, and now what I'll do, I'll take some numerical information such as sales and I'll drop it in fields. You can see here we got an information 2.30 M, 2.30 million. So that's the information we can get. So the single information about sales. So user wants to see the summarized information about the like what's going on in the company, like sales, profits, what's the total sales, all those things. Okay, so I can create like multiple things. So let's say I'll copy this thing, Control C, getting out of the visual, Control V. So I have two visuals now. Okay, I'll remove sales, I'll put profit in here. Okay, so this is the total profit from my data. Okay, so just let's check your like business knowledge. So my sales is 2.30 and I was able to make total profit of 286.40. okay, that's dollars. So comment in the comment what do you think is the margin. Let's see how good you are at understanding money. Okay, so let's say this is the total sales, that's the profit. Okay, yeah. Now let's say I'll paste again. I have third card. Okay, now I will do something. Let's say I'll take quantity. I'll drop it in the visual. There you go, I have the third card. Okay, so all these are giving me the summarized information about my data: sales, profit and quantity. Okay, that's cards. Okay, now what will happen if you put a categorical information in a card? Let's just check that. Okay, so I'll take card again. I'll put my subcategory in here. Okay, so what's happening internally with Power BI is that A is the thing comes first in the alphabetical order, right? So that's why we are getting A, but that does not make any sense to us right now. I mean, why would a user wants to see something which starts with A? He wants something which gives insight, information. So with this, what we can do is that I can showcase the subcategory which is giving me the maximum profit. In card, I want to show the subcategory which is giving me the highest profit. So let's just check how we can do that. Okay, yeah, so I'll select the visual, I'll go to filter. All right, so I'll take that subcategory again and I'll drop it here, and you can see top N. So as we know, cards gives only one information, right? So I'll make it one. Profit, what do I want? I want to showcase the subcategory which is giving me the highest profit. Okay, so I'll take the profit and I'll drop it here and I'll apply. So now if you look, we have copiers. Okay, so that's the subcategory, that's the insight a user can get when he or her is looking at the dashboard. So copiers is the subcategory which is contributing the highest profit. All right, so now if I double click on it, I can rename it. Okay, so high profit subcategory. All right, so that's the thing. Now I want you all to pause the video and create a card which shows highest sales subcategory, highest quantity of a subcategory. Okay, so that's the kind of things we can generate with the help of these cards. So that is it for today's video. So we'll continue our series and see you in the next video. Thank you.